Welcome to my Lovesober podcast, Inspiration for Alcohol-Free Living. I'm your host, Chris Hartl, certified This Naked Mind coach with any grace and a flight attendant with a big German airline. In this podcast, I would love to explore with you the role of alcohol in our lives and culture without rules, pain or judgment. I would love to inspire, motivate and support you on your journey into an alcohol-free life, listening to real stories from all over the world. I would love to talk to people in German, English and Spanish, and if you would like to be part of this mission, please send me an email to chris@lovesober.de. But now let's start, and I hope you enjoy this episode.
I don't really like to use the term rock bottom because I don't really think you need the rock bottom, but that was my moment where I drew the line in the sand for myself of like, okay, I cannot keep doing this. I cannot keep accepting this amount of drinking from myself.
Good afternoon. I'm here with Debi Talbert today, and she's one of my This Naked Mind coaching colleagues. She's the owner of Jumpseat Coaching and the host of another podcast called Exit the Drinking Life podcast. She's a senior coach, I already said, and I'm so happy to have Debi here today, and she will tell you how she found This Naked Mind and why she stopped drinking. Hello, Debi.
Hey, Chris. Thank you so much for having me here. I am so honored to be a part of your podcast and to be helping, hopefully in some way, the listeners who listen to your episodes. And so just to get a little bit about my story, I too was a flight attendant. I retired. So I recently retired in 2020. And what got me to literally decide it was time to, as I call it, exit the drinking life was an incident where I realized after going on a Dublin trip, because I'm in Florida in the United States, and after doing a Dublin trip, and I had tried Jameson and realized how much I liked Jameson after going to the Jameson factory in Ireland. Right. And realizing that in 3 days, I had totally consumed the, I guess it's called the 70 milliliter size, so the half a gallon here in the States of the Jameson on my own. I knew that if I kept that type of rate and pace of drinking up, and I was already 59 at the time, if I kept doing that, I was going to be the person that would end up having lost everything. Because at that moment in time, to the outside world, my life wasn't impacted. And really, I didn't have any DUIs. I didn't miss work. I didn't show up to work, having consumed alcohol. But that amount to me, I knew it was too much to keep doing.
So when you came back from this Dublin flight, no? You said you were thinking about your drinking.
Yeah. Well, that was really kind of like I don't really like to use the term rock bottom because I don't really think you need the rock bottom, but that was my moment where I drew the line in the sand for myself of like, okay, I cannot keep doing this. I cannot keep accepting this amount of drinking from myself. And so that was literally, but prior to that, I had tried going to like AA type meetings and setting rules for myself, only on certain days, not when I'm working, and then only if I'm going to not do a 3-day trip. Like I really started setting all kinds of regulations around it and finding that wasn't working. So in that moment in time, when I noticed as I walked past where we used to keep the liquor, and actually we do still have liquor there because my husband still does drink, but I have no desire for it. So it doesn't matter to me anymore that it's in the house. But when I walked past that and saw what I had done, I knew I had to draw the line in the sand, but I also knew the way I had been going about it wasn't actually going to work. I'd already been trying to do that for 6 years. So the shift I made was I decided, okay, I'm going to stop trying to stop this behavior, and I'm going to start trying to find out, what do I actually want from this alcohol?
Exactly.
And so when I shifted what I was making my goal become, that's when things shifted for me.
But how did you know that you had to do this? Did you have you heard about books? Have you heard about other possibilities?
Well, at that point, sis, I had not. However, what I had been doing was I was becoming a certified coach with a gentleman called Michael Lozier, where he teaches about the law of attraction. So how to attract what it is that you want. And so the first thing that you do there is you ask yourself, so what do I want? So I decided, well, let me just use this question with the alcohol. I had not tried that before. And I had been going through his work and learning from him and finding his book. And I didn't really decide to take his program until a couple of years into it, but I had found his book. And so I thought, okay, but I had never decided up until that point to apply it to my drinking, right? So I thought, okay, well, everything else I'm doing isn't working, this rules and willpower method. So why don't I see if I can just do this? So what do I want from this drink? So I started, so that's literally what I did. So each time before I drank, I said to myself, so what do I want from this? I would write it down. And then I would the next day explore and discover, did this do that? And of course, the answer was always no, it didn't. And then I was finding out I was wanting relief from stress. I was wanting to connect with my flight attendants, right? Because every time we go to work, it's new people that we're meeting, right? And so I did it. I was very uncomfortable meeting new people all the time. Yes, I could show up and do the job and do my task in the job, right? But when it came to the socializing aspect after work, that part was harder for me unless I had my friend alcohol. So I was discovering my reasons and what I was wanting from the alcohol and realizing that it wasn't really helping me with those things. And so I just kept doing that. And then one day I woke up and decided, okay, I'm done with this behavior. It's not doing what I want. It's not matching. But I didn't believe it would last because it just felt too miraculous.
Yeah, I think, no?
Right.
It happened. So, I think we were talking the other day. It happened the same to me. And of course, you had the advantage that you read this book and that you asked yourself, why am I drinking?
Right. And what am I wanting from it?
Yeah.
And so then but I also at that moment knew in my soul, like, I know for sure I'm done, but I was half not trusting for sure. Like it just felt too unbelievable. And so then is when I went online, started searching out, and I don't even remember the words I did, right? I don't know which words I put in, but I wanted to find out why did it work. And that is when I found the book, This Naked Mind. And then is when I read the book and understood the science in it and literally realizing, oh my gosh, I did exactly what this book says.
Exactly.
And that's why it worked. I knew for sure I was done.
Yeah. It was also, for me, it was like a miracle. I knew it after 1 week. I said, yeah, I won't drink again.
Yeah, it's like it felt too much like a miracle. Even now, as I'm telling you, like I got the goosebumps on my arms, like, and so it's kind of like, and so really just the realization that, okay, it doesn't have to be as hard as we're led to believe it is, right? Because what I notice a lot is even in movies or television shows, when you're showing a person or they're showing a person, a character that isn't drinking or trying not to drink, they portray it like it is this horrible thing, like their life is so deprived and their life is so filled with all this missing out on things. and that they are powerless over this thing, this substance.
Yep.
When the reality is, when you go about it from changing your subconscious and your true belief about the substance itself, your life is amazing.
It's amazing, and you get all the power back. You have more power than you ever had before.
Exactly, because you're learning tools of how, it's actually because it's my thought. It's something I'm thinking. It's something I'm believing. Yeah. I don't have to keep believing that if I don't want to.
Yeah. And I know now that it was not my fault. I got addicted by an addictive substance. So,
yes, also understanding that, like realizing the science behind it of, oh, wait, alcohol is an addictive substance to the human body, not me, the human, a flawed person.
Exactly. Yeah. But of course, there are people who maybe, I don't know, how do you think they can drink, and they never question their drinking because they drink one glass of wine once a week.
Right. And some people are totally able to do that. Like that just was not for me. I could actually, there was in my life, I was able to take it or leave it up until my mid 40s. And then I started relying on it to help me cope with life. And I think that's where the difference comes in, is when when you start to rely on it to help you cope with life, then it becomes more and more habitual, more and more of a like I with my grandkids, it's like it's like it becomes your pacifier. I don't know if you use that term, but it's what they suck on, when they need to pacify themselves.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. Pacifier, yes. In German, right. It's for all the audience, it's Schnuller.
Okay, right. So it's that, right? And so if you start relying on it like that, and it becomes that for you, then is where it's easier and faster for you to become addicted to it. And it's also, but P.S., it is an addictive substance to the human body. So it's very possible it could happen to any person, not just one particular type of people. And I think that's where the misleading information is, thinking, only certain people will get addicted to this substance.
Mm. Yeah, and the image given that only people get addicted who don't have control over themselves, no? So I always felt bad. I said, why can't I have just one drink? What is wrong with me, no? The question.
Right. Yeah, and I think that that's another thing, right? That we're socially conditioned to believe, and it's portrayed even in like movies, television. Oh, this person is an out of control person, and they don't have goals. They don't have ambitions. They're like, something is wrong with them in some way. And what I have found is it's almost like the opposite's true. It's the people that are highly ambitious, the people that have goals, the people that are high performing individuals find themselves in this trap too.
Yeah.
Because it's an addictive substance to the human body.
Yeah. Because I think you said I became more addicted, let's say at the end of the 40s, starting 50, 51. Then I think it's changed. I drank more. And then I also started thinking about my consumption. I think you also told me, that at the end of the 40s, or when you got 50, that you drank more, no?
Oh, yes. So I started having, because it's really like how we think about ourselves and how creates how we feel about ourselves, creates the emotions we have towards ourselves. And then from those places, like that's how we act and behave. And so, but what I found myself doing too was thinking and believing that around my mid 40s, early 50s, because I stopped when I was 59. I started thinking and believing that I had somehow failed up to that point. Like I hadn't lived up to what, I don't know, I guess in my 20s, maybe, that I had envisioned that my life would be like, and it wasn't. And also the lack of funds that, yes, I had planned for retirement. I had a job, from my 20s, the same job, and done the 401k and done all the things and done all the, I don't know, quote unquote, right things, right? But yet I didn't see how I was literally going to be able to actually ever retire in a fashion in which I wanted to, right? And so I kept telling myself all these failure stories about myself. And so as I was doing that too, I started to rely more on alcohol to numb out how I was thinking about myself, about how far I had not come, quote unquote. And I was doing a lot of comparing myself to other people instead of comparing myself to my own self and how far I had actually really come. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah, I think I wrote also down one note. We both have two things in common. We both started late as a flight attendant, and we stopped late drinking. So I think we are privileged to that we did things when others don't even try to change their life. You started flying at the age of 40. I started flying again at the age of 50.
Right. And I think we forget, like I was at that state where when I was actively drinking and doing all the drinking, I was forgetting all the things that I had actually done, where I forgot that I allowed myself at 40 to leave a desk job, a Monday through Friday job, and go into this job where I was going to be going to other countries.
Of course.
And that was something I don't even know if I'd even been. Yes, I had been a couple of times to other countries by that point, but it was like, I wasn't giving myself credit for all the transformations and the transitions in life that I had actually done. And I think part of it was because I was relying on the alcohol. So I was numbing myself and numbing my own joy, like what we understand now, what alcohol does to us, where it robs our joy, right? And so I wasn't allowing myself to give myself credit for everything I had done. And so I think that too. And so I was really, for me, I was relying on it as sort of a self-medication, so to speak, to numb myself away from what I viewed as all my failures. When the reality is, it was the exact opposite. I had done some pretty miraculous things up until that point.
Yes. Yes, of course. I was really thinking when we talked the last time, I was telling also a friend, I said, well, I talked to a coaching colleague and she was a flight attendant, and because she stopped flying at the age of 47 and maybe she wants to start again. I said, it's never too late. She started with 40, I started with 50. Why not? No. So yeah.
And I think we get into that habit, and we're also socially conditioned to think and feel and believe, especially here in the United States. Oh, once you hit 50, forget it. Life is half over. Like, why bother? Like, right?
Yeah.
And it's literally just not that way. No. So now my thoughts are, no, wait a second. When you hit 50, life is only just beginning.
Exactly. And it's beginning now when I stopped drinking. Also, my feeling is so much different. I'm feeling myself, my body, my mind. I'm feeling different.
Totally. And what I discovered, which was totally unexpected, is all those things that I thought were happening to my body because of aging, like the aches and pains, like the exhaustion, like some memory things, and even the joy in life. I literally thought, oh, well, this is happening because I am now 59 or I'm 55 or I'm 50 something, right? Okay, these things are happening. I'm going to have to accept it. Like my husband is Cuban. And so his mother always had this saying, of aging isn't for the weak. And then in Spanish, la mano is like the adding of numbers. And so we would make this joke between us where we would say the word la mano and then flash our hands in tens of like adding up numbers, like decades, right?
Okay.
And something would happen and we would be like, oh, it's la mano. And we would flash the numbers and we both laugh about it. But it turns out once I let alcohol go, all those things I thought were from aging, like the lack of energy, like the aches and pains in my body, and the memory things. I have more energy than I had when I was 40 when I started flying.
Exactly. Yes.
And my memory is better. I am learning all of these new and different things, like this neuroscience stuff, the brain science stuff, how to coach people, how to support people, a whole, basically now I am on my third act, right? Career, so to speak, as a life coach.
It's so great what you did.
And I'm 64.
Yeah, it's amazing. Congratulations. No, you're really like, yeah, I want to be like you when I'm 64. So no, and I think we can both show the other women that it's never too late. No, never too late to start. And yeah, how many?
Right, 100%.
Well, you are 100%. Yeah, you're a tiny habits certified coach. Maybe you like to tell my audience also a little bit. What is this with the tiny habits? I think it's also very interesting.
Okay. So one of the biggest things too is if we can learn and understand to celebrate the tiniest of things. So I have this, I am a tiny habit certified coach through BJ Fogg. He is a human behavior kind of specialist. And so his work has proven and shown that habits aren't literally this 21-day thing that makes a habit stick. What actually helps a habit stick and makes a habit stick, a new one, is how you feel about the habit. So the tinier you can actually make the start, so really taking the starter step of the habit. So let's say that you want to exercise more. So you're realizing that you're not exercising as much as you would like to exercise. So whatever the exercise is, so let's just say you're going to move your body more. Well, in order to do that, you first, for most people, need to put on a particular type of shoes, right? Tennis shoes, or not your high heels, right?
Yeah.
So the habit can actually become, the tiny habit part of it can literally become the starter step, which is putting on the shoes and then celebrating that you put on the shoes. And when you celebrate these moments of the starter steps of the habit, that tiny celebration you give yourself, and it's an instant kind of celebration, like either saying to yourself, yay me, or smiling because you did it, or giving yourself a high five, or literally going as far as like snapping your fingers and doing a little jig for yourself, right? But this little instant celebration of something that you did, what that actually does is help your brain tap into your own reward center of the brain. And that is the part that helps the brain remember to do this action. So does that kind of?
Yes, for sure,
okay.
For sure. Also,
right. Yeah. So as people, like, let's say they're doing this action, like we're helping them with, right? Drink less, change their relationship with alcohol. So if you, like, just like what we did, finding out from ourselves what we want from it. So if the new habit you could create for yourself is after I notice I want the drink, and after I have it totally ready, right? So let's say it's habitual, you put it in a particular type of glass, you sit maybe in a particular chair when you're going to have your alcohol beverage, right? Well, after you've done all that and you sit in the chair, I will tell myself, make a note to myself, one thing I think this drink is going to help me with, and celebrate that you put that down. And so starting there, because what that does is first it puts a pause between the automaticness of the drink. of the putting it together and creating it and then having it. So it pauses, brings in some more conscious awareness to you of what you're actually wanting from this, and then allowing you to purposely know why you want it. So you're taking away some of the automaticness. And then the next day you can relook at that and find out if it actually did what you wanted and choose on purpose. Is this something that I actually want to do? So that can really become how you can have and then celebrating that you actually paused and made a note just to find out what you want from it. Because that is really the starter step of this.
Very, very, no, it's very interesting. I will put all the information, of course, also in the show notes. So if you might be interested, my audience might be interested in the tiny habits. I looked it up already in internet.
Right. Yeah. And there is a process where they offer a free 5 days of going through the program. And so you do get assigned a coach from Tiny Habits. So people that are actually certified by BJ Fogg through the 5-day program to help you with. And then BJ and his company, they send you little videos and emails. And then you also get insight from a coach, and you can ask the coach questions and they'll help you build up these tiny habit recipes. And so to help you, so you can experience over a 5 days, and you need to sign up by a Friday, and they do this on every Monday. Cool. And so this will really help you get a feel for what this process is like.
Yeah, I think we both know it, but of course, when you stop drinking, you have to change some habits, no? And your life will also change.
Right. And I think part of the process is, and why I think it's beneficial to have a coach, is because this is new and different for you, right? So maybe you're able to have less of the alcohol and shift up your relationship. Then how am I going to figure out how to be this new and different person in the world now without how I looked at it at the point when I was leaving was my friend alcohol, right? So you're letting go of this friend, or like I referred to, your pacifier, right? And so now how am I going to be in the world that is so socially conditioned to believe that alcohol is a part of everything of life? How am I going to be able to show up in a world with that? And a coach, especially one that has been there and has transitioned their own relationship with alcohol, is the ideal way to help you go through that. And I honestly believe that having a coach for a year is the best thing you can do for yourself as you're transitioning and letting yourself be who you are in the world now without alcohol.
Yeah, it also takes time, because they say if you are drinking, for example, 30 years, you cannot maybe quit in 30 days or from one day to another. It takes also time to make this change possible.
Oh yes, totally. Because think about it. This is because in my case, 18 to 59. So what was that? 40 some odd years, right? And so even now, where I am in my 6th year of not having alcohol in my life, I consider myself, though, more like a first grader, like a 6-year-old would be. So I'm learning every day new and different skills and how to be this person in the world without numbing and buffering out of my life.
Exactly. I think I was drinking more years than now I'm without drinking. I started late. I started with 23. I was more years drinking than not drinking.
Yeah, I know. And so really receiving support from someone who's been there, done that, is the best gift you can give yourself to help you navigate, especially your first year of the transitioning away from relying so much on alcohol and transforming your relationship with alcohol, and then letting yourself live and be an experiment out in the world without alcohol.
For sure. You're also, maybe we can talk also a little bit about the path. This is a program Any Grace is also offering, because I haven't done the path, but I know you are a coach. No, you're coaching people through the path. Maybe you can give my audience also a short. Yeah, I think it's always good to have experts.
Right. Well, so the path is, and it actually is a year-long program, right? And so the path is a membership style program where every person in the path is learning how to do exactly what you're doing. And so you have a community of people that, yes, you have the resources and the training that you're receiving. You have the coaches that will support you and help you see what it is you can't actually see, right? So the coach is kind of like a flight attendant, right? We're going to help you leave everything, exit, come this way, leave everything.
Very
right?
Good.
Right. So we're going to help with that. And then you also have a community of other people doing the same thing that you're doing. So then this allows you to not feel alone in this transformation process.
Sure.
And so that's part of the things, like, because with my own coaching, and I know you talked about yours too, it's private and one-on-one,
yes.
But I also am building and developing community aspect too, which is what you talked about, you're working towards doing with yours also, because I honestly feel like this community piece of it is a part that people want and need.
I love it, actually. I had done group coaching last October for 1 week or for 5 days. And we were a group of sober people. So, so like was a sobriety week, and people didn't drink during this week. And most of them, they continued. Some of them started again. But it was so nice because we exchanged so many facts, and it was really nice talks. Yeah.
Right. And it's literally like where people doing the same thing you're doing can actually share with you their tactics, right? What they're doing. And it'll give you ideas of, oh, maybe I'll try that for myself too. Let me see how that works for me.
Yeah, exactly. And in the past, how often do they have classes, or do they have calls?
Well, in the past, it is designed where you receive one video a day. So it is a 365-day program. You get one video a day. Okay. And then there's a community section. So, and then every single day, a coach does a live Q&A in the community section. So that's scheduled at different times throughout the whole time. And then also a couple of times a week, usually 2 to 3 times a week, there are also Zoom coaching opportunities where it's group coaching. So you come to a Zoom and you're able to receive the coaching that you need. So there's no more in the Zoom part, there aren't more lessons brought. It's literally you bringing what you're coming up with, what's happening for you. Mm-hmm. And a coach is guiding you to help you see what it is you can't see.
Okay. And before you start, for example, it's recommended to read the book, or I think so, no? That you know a little bit about the method already. About the methodology?
No, actually, you don't have to, because they send you from start to finish the whole everything you need for the whole year. But I think anybody that is listening to this, and this is what they are challenged with, I believe that getting the book This Naked Mind is the best place you could start for yourself. Yes. Because you're going to learn, right? You're going to learn the science behind what's happening in your body and in your brain because of the alcohol. It's going to help you let go of thinking you, the person, is flawed, and realize by shifting the approach, and it's an approach issue, not a person issue.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I think. I think the book is very powerful, and it helps to make the shift. Then you have to work, of course. You have to work on your change, but it's possible.
Right. Well, yes, because the coach isn't going to be able to do the work for you, right? But the coach can be your guide.
Yeah, he can tell you what you could do, or suggest tactics, tools,
and resources. But you, the person, are still going to have to do the work. It's just like, okay, the passengers are going to go on a trip with us, right? Yeah. But they're going to buy the ticket. They're going to need to plan whatever they're going to do at the destination. They're going to pack their suitcase. So that part is the work for them.
Yeah, we can help them to have the trip comfortable. No, that's maybe like a coach. We can help them, but the work, yeah.
But literally doing the work and the action steps, that's up to the individual.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Let's start.
Right. And I think that's what people, that's the part that, yes, I get. It can feel scary and it can feel uncomfortable. And your brain is going to do what brains do and send you all kinds of messages telling you this is not a good idea.
Exactly.
But what I want you to know, and what I think Chris wants you to know too, is it's the best decision that you could make for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we have to emphasize on this, that I'm feeling so great since I stopped in 2020, and I will never go back. I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm so happy every day when I wake up.
It's one of those, I think it's one of those things that you have to experience it to understand it. And
it's
if you can let yourself be, this does not have to be a forever decision. This can be just for right now. This is what I'm going to experiment with and try on and see if Chris and Debbie are right. They could be wrong. Let me find out for myself. Maybe they're right, kind of thing.
Yeah, Debbie, maybe they never get to this point. I think some clients, they ask me, they still miss alcohol. They didn't make the change, the shift.
Right. And I think it's really because, and even a person that is no longer consuming the alcohol, but they feel like they're missing out on something, it's because they still have underlying beliefs somehow that alcohol is somehow benefiting them, that there is this FOMA, so to speak, there around it. And so the tools, even the book itself of This Naked Mind, would help a person understand more about what might be going on. And a coach would be the ideal person to help you understand and shift your beliefs and uncover what some of those beliefs are, to help you move into away from the missing it and into this euphoric type life of living, where you realize, oh, I'm not missing a thing. I've gained all of these things.
Yeah. I don't care about alcohol. We have alcohol here in the kitchen. I don't care if the wine is there or not, or I don't look. But that's the point. I always, when I stop drinking, I throw the bottles away and I pull them off. And the last time when I quit, I didn't do this. And it worked.
So you didn't throw any of them away?
No, they're still here. They're still here with me. They moved with me, nobody's coming to drink them. And but I wanted to have this. I didn't want to go on a wine diet. I wanted to stop drinking and being happy, being free.
Right. And I think that's where the difference is, right? It's not this like diet thing. It's this lifestyle. And I'm deciding, because I don't say to myself, I am sober. I don't say I am a recovering anything. I'm a person who decided that alcohol was no longer a part of my life. I don't care about it. To me, it's the same as if I don't care about going in the front yard and eating the dirt. I don't care about having the alcohol. And so if I don't care about it, it's not drawing me to anything. There is no desire for it. So because I don't desire it, I am not actually missing anything. And I think that's the space and this place where people want to get to.
Yes.
Is there isn't any desire for it. And the way to do that is this process of, what do I believe about it? What do I think I'm getting from it? Is that actually true? Do I have to keep believing it? Who says? And what if I changed my thought? Because the truth is, as humans, we have thoughts. Those thoughts create our feelings. And those feelings from the feeling place is how we act and behave, which is then what creates the result in our life.
100%. Debbie, I couldn't have said it better than my senior coach friend, Debi Talbert from Florida. No, really good, really good. No, this is the point. This is really the point.
Right. Is understanding that. And when you realize that, and when you realize, oh, and P.S., I'm the one that has the power to change the thought.
Yeah.
And we don't really, and this isn't something that we're taught. It's not something we're taught in school. So this is something that is the best gift you can give yourself, is learning that, because you can literally apply that to anything in your life that you want.
For sure.
Yeah.
We will do this.
Yeah. Yes. And we will help others do it too.
Yeah. We hope that many people can find the exit for drinking, exit, the drinking exit.
Yeah, the drinking life exit.
Drinking life exit.
That. Right. And really what I really want people to find is the exit from that cycle, right? That cycle of, you did the action, now you're shaming yourself, you're blaming yourself, you're not liking yourself, but yet then you find yourself doing it again, right? And so that's the life I'm talking about, is exiting that and finding relief from that.
Yeah. Before we stop, Debbie, where can my audience find you?
Oh, I am at, my website is jumpseatcoaching.com. And that is like the seat the flight attendants sit in, right? Jumpseat Coaching.
I love it. I love the name.
And that is the website, and that's the best way to find me. I do have resources there. The main avenue is to you can get on my mailing list there, and I send out an email every Wednesday, and it's around intentional living, not just letting alcohol go. And then if you really want to have a conversation with me, I have a link there where you can actually start the conversation, have a conversation with me. I don't speak German, so if German is your language, Chris is the person you want to reach.
No, hopefully, I think they have also many English-speaking persons in Germany. Well, you never know, and it's
right. And I also want to, because Chris, you're doing amazing work, and you're doing and helping people, and I love what you're going to be able to be doing within your airline. I think that is a beautiful gift that you're going to be giving all those employees that work at the airline where you work. Yeah, I'm also really proud and really happy. Although sometimes it's challenging me, I think, oh, why am I doing this? No, but then when I talk to people like you, it's so nice. And I mean, we have to spread the word in the world that alcohol is a fake friend, and we have to change this shaming and blaming. Right. And really just let people know it's not a you problem, it's an approach problem, and you can change your approach. For sure. We did it, so you can also do it. We did it, and we did it later in life. So if we did it later in life, you can definitely do it. Yeah. That's all. Thank you so much, Debbie. All right. Thank you so much, being my guest. I'm so happy. Thank you very much for tuning in and listening to my Lovesober podcast. I hope I could inspire, motivate, or support you a bit. My mission is to show you with enthusiasm and love that life without alcohol is so beautiful and that changes are possible. I stopped drinking at the age of 56 and started a podcast at the age of 57. So where do you wait for? Start now. Everything is possible, no matter at what age. If you like to have support or just a chat, have a look on my website lovesober.de or send me an email to chris@lovesober.de. And if you like to be my guest, please write me an email. I also invite you to be part of my private Lovesober Facebook community with people from all over the world.
You can find the links in the show notes. If this was kind of fun to you, I invite you to hit subscribe and share this with your friends and family. I would be grateful if you would take a moment to rate and review this podcast, so together we could reach more people who are looking for an alcohol-free life. Thank you so much for being my guest, and I can't wait to see you next Sunday. Bye bye!